Your brain is the most powerful tool you own, but are you making it stronger? Every day is a chance to sharpen your edge, build new connections, and unlock your potential. Don't just live, evolve. My name is Professor Alex Horniak, and this is ACEMED Minutes. Train your brain. It all began with a simple question. In the 1920s, a factory called the Hawthorne Works, just outside of Chicago, wanted to know how to make its workers more productive. It had to be the lighting, brighter lights. So they started an experiment. They seated a group of workers. They made the room brighter. Productivity shot up. Then researchers tried something else. They dimmed the lights, and something strange happened. Productivity went up again. How could both brighter lights and dimmer lights lead to the same outcome? The workers kept working harder. It wasn't the light, it was attention, the act of being watched. They weren't just assembling telephone relays, they were performing. The phenomenon became known as the Hawthorne Effect, an accidental discovery revealing human nature. What the researchers stumbled upon is a principle known in psychology as the observer effect. It's a simple idea with profound implications. The theory states that the act of observing a phenomenon inevitably changes that phenomenon. Think of it as a psychological Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. You can't measure something without touching it, and the moment you touch it, it's no longer in its original state. When the subject is a person, that touch is the awareness of being watched. We simply do not act the same way when we know there are eyes on us. The awareness of observation triggers different mental processes. It activates our social brain. We start thinking about expectations. That spontaneous, unthinking behavior we exhibit when we believe we are alone, it vanishes. In its place comes a more curated version of ourselves. How can you study authenticity when observation destroys it? It's the ghost in the machine of social science. You have experienced the observer effect. You experience it every day. Think about driving your car. Long, empty stretch of highway. Now picture a police car behind you. Back straightens. Both hands snap to 10 and 2. Their presence changes everything. Or consider eating. Home alone. Cereal from the box. On a first date, there are rules. You use a fork and knife. You take smaller bites. A basic act becomes a social ritual. You walk one way when no one's looking. You walk differently passing a group. An observer flicks a switch in the brain. We shift from private mode to public mode. The unseen audience can be imaginary. A picture of eyes can be enough. Posters of eyes deter littering and theft. Even a symbolic gaze triggers the observer effect. Behavior is shaped by people who are there, and people who could be. One of the most unsettling demonstrations comes from Stanley Milgram. Back in the 1960s, Milgram ran experiments now legendary in psychology. He brought participants into a stark lab and told them it was a memory study. They had to administer electric shocks to a learner whenever the learner erred. The shocks would increase in voltage with each mistake, labeled as potentially fatal. Of course, the shocks weren't real. The learner was actually an actor who would cry out in pain and plead to be released. The real test: would the teacher keep pressing the button because a man in a white lab coat told them to? Milgram's result was shocking. A majority obeyed. In one variation, the scientist left and gave orders over the phone. Once physical observation was removed, obedience plummeted. His gaze acted as a coercive force, communicating expectation and authority. It made defiance feel like a direct, personal confrontation. But as a voice on the phone, he became an abstract authority. Participants felt less scrutinized and were more likely to follow their conscience. The principles uncovered in the lab don't stay in the lab. Take the modern workplace. The rise of open-plan offices was a bet on observation. The theory was that if everyone is visible, people will be more productive. The walls came down to create mutual observation. In schools, a teacher's gaze is a tool for classroom management. When they walk through the aisles, they are communicating presence. Students stop talking to neighbors and put away phones. A substitute who sits has harder time than one who actively observes. This effect plays a crucial role in law enforcement. People drive more slowly and are less likely to engage in petty crime. This is the logic behind body cameras for police officers. The camera ensures both public and officer behavior adheres to protocol. But constant observation can have a downside. It can lead to stress, anxiety, and distrust. It can stifle creativity and innovation. We stick to the safe path rather than taking risks. We began with factory workers and light bulbs, an experiment that revealed something profound. We are conscious, reactive beings fundamentally altered by being studied. The observer effect is a window into the nature of our social selves. This raises a deep and unsettling question. If our behavior changes when observed, then who is the real you? Is it the person who sings into a hairbrush when no one is home, or the person who delivers a polished presentation in a boardroom? Maybe we are a collection of selves, each called forth by specific contexts. Every time you notice a security camera, every time a manager walks by your desk, every time you step onto a stage, you are being subtly reshaped by the power of observation. We perform for parents, friends, colleagues, and anonymous strangers. It's an unconscious dance we've practiced since childhood. So next time you straighten up, take a moment. Ask yourself, who would I be if no one was watching? In that space between ourselves, the mystery of human nature lies. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and never stop questioning what you know. Thank you for choosing ACEMED to train your brain.